Hey there, everybody, it's Wayne D. Welcome to the website. And you're looking at my new student. We've been working for a few months. It's Max Rosenberg. So we're going to see what sort of progress we're making. If you remember from the early swings, if you go back, we started in November, and Max made it down to Florida once in November, and then he's now down in Florida. I'm down here, so we've been working down here. So as you watch the swing, one of the things that I've been trying to get Max to do is to come down a little less steep with a little less shut face, so he wouldn't have to release straight out. If we go back to the very first swings, it was pretty long, but it had some good stuff in it. So we're really trying to get that thing to shallow out. So let's take a look. So these are the swings that we started with the other day. So we had a nice breakthrough in the last lesson. Didn't do a video on it, but we finally got the club. You can see the shaft kicking back a little bit, the hands moving out toward the ball. And in this lesson, a couple things that I wanted to do was I wanted to address the overthrust of the right knee, and I wanted to see if we could get his hands to come in a little closer to the body. Now, one thing that Max has going for him, and this is kind of a fluky thing, it's a gift. If you watch, especially now that he's shallow in the club out, look how nicely he gets that thing up there. I mean, that's really good. Look at that. So when he gets some experience, he's going to figure out how to put the club on the ball if we can get the other mechanics good, because he's got the ability, fluidity, and the athletic ability, and he's got the sense of lag in the club head. So we've got it shallowing out. So what I was trying to do in this lesson is to get the hips to stay in the box a little bit better. Not that that's horrible, but Max is trying to, get as good as he can, so I'm trying to help him out. So this is something you've seen many times. I'll put the shaft in the ground right here, and we'll see if we can get the idea that when we deepen that right hip flexor in the downswing, what we want to do now is twist this thing back over to the left. So the right hip, when it changes direction, is going to change from clockwise to counterclockwise, and when it does that, if we can get it to stay back, stay deep, and as it moves forward and twists, it's going to get the pressure over to the left leg, and the left leg can really work on clearing. Look how nicely his knees cleared here, and the grip is slightly above left arm parallel. So this is why I like to use that shaft to remind the right leg not to kick up into it. So watch how nicely the hips work here. Stay right in the box. So that's just one of the things that you see in the best players. Now Max is 6'7", and after we were looking at these swings and he was asking me about club fitting, I hooked him up with a fella up in Jupiter that Willie uses to tweak his clubs, and Max is going to go up and get fit, because I don't think these clubs are long enough for him. He's just so tall, and the clubs are only like a 1/4 inch over length. All right, so we work down to a longer club. And now you'll see the other thing that I did to define the space where he comes down. And I just put a little barrier up here. See if he could keep his hands inside of it. Another thing that we decided to do in this particular lesson was to unbend his knees and stand up a little taller. And that, I think the club length makes it hard for him. So with the technology now, taller players have a better chance to get clubs that are weighted correctly. Now you go back 10, 15 years, and when you're 6'7", clubs had to be too heavy when they were lengthened, and the shafts had to be too light to make up for it. So I think now the guys can have enough technology and enough new equipment at hand that they can get fit by a competent club fitter. So check this out. So Max does just lots of good things. The swing is really progressing nicely. So once these swing mechanics get in place and he can start finding more of his tee shots, we're going to get out on the course and really work on scoring. But look how nice this is. I mean, this is great technique. That's just beautiful. And check it out here. So with Max's lateness, meaning that, you know, when he produces that lag and his hands get way forward, if he comes in out to in or a little steep, and he shuts the face down, he just does not get the thing up in the air very much. So kind of working. That's why I wanted to work on getting his hands to feel like they're going to come down a little closer. So the left arm is going to, when that right arm kicks in to flatten the shaft, we don't want it to drive the left arm way out. Now watch how this club reacts. And if you go back and look at Max's other videos, you know that from the top the club would bounce straight up in the air. So watch what this does now. Watch this club head. Look at that. That's an awesome move. Now I did take the stick out of the ground. He probably would have nudged it a little bit here. So we could do multiple items in the station, but you can see I've got that club head, or I've got that head cover on the shaft there just to remind him that it would be better if his left arm was a little more vertical on the approach. So this one just snuck out a little bit. This could lean back a little longer. But you gotta admit that if you look at these positions and you figure this guy is strong and he's 6'7", I mean, how far is he going to hit the ball when he learns how to square the face and catch it in the middle? So this really looks good. Now it took quite a while for him to get the feel of getting that club to shallow back like that, but once he's gotten that, he started to hit the ball a lot better. So once these things are in place, we can really start to dig in on the short game and the putting. He'd be shooting better scores. He's not making many putts, but as you can see, that swing is really coming around. All right.